Have you ever seen a person who has an obsessive desire for higher position, more possession, and longer life? His ambition is almost pathological and nobody can stop him, and he is completely blind to other people's needs. He knows how to avoid downfalls, how to manipulate and maneuver as he wants. Many times he is successful. What is scary is that he can reproduce himself endlessly. Sometimes you think you got him, but now you realize that he has spread to other places and appears everywhere. Sounds hauntingly familiar? This is the story of a cancer cell. This book, The Emperor of All Maladies, a biography of cancer, is the story of this ever-proliferating, maneuvering, manipulating, and ingeniously adapting disease. The author is Siddhartha Mukherjee, an Indian-born American physician and oncologist. He confessed in an interview that he wrote this book not to drown in this murky sea of endless battle against a cancer which left him stunned and speechless every night after seeing his patients. This book is a story of cancer, or rather, it's a story of human beings who endured thousands of years of ignorance, hundreds of years of trials, and mostly errors in finding a cure. But mainly, it is our story of fighting and resisting not to surrender so easily to this malignant and outwitting tumors which used to be our own healthy cells. The first written record of cancer is from the 2600 BC papyrus by the Egyptian physician Imhotep. His prescription for tumors was simple: there is none. There was no document about cancer during Middle Ages, and it was between 1800 and 1900 that surgeons attempted to deal with it through aggressive operation of removing the much larger part of the body rather than only the affected area, which added more suffering to the patients with very little benefit. Ever since the discovery of chemotherapy during World War I, there was a fanatic search for new drugs for different types of cancer. They were introduced to treat patients by pushing human endurance to the extreme. The study of cancer, let alone the research for the cure, was not without fighting against ignorance and conflicts with the tobacco industry and politics and even among doctors and scientists. It was not in vain, though. Childhood leukemia, once fatal, are now highly curable. High-dose chemotherapy cocktails are supplemented by less toxic and more targeted drugs. Now people are aware that one of the better remedies include prevention against carcinogens. The more realistic battle against cancer starts with the discovery of the genetics of cancer and identification of the malfunctioning molecular sequence, which is manufacturing biological machinery which has only accelerators but no brakes. It was daunting to me to realize the diversity of cancer, ever evolving with a higher rate which is expected from its accelerated reproduction capacity. But it was sobering at the same time to briefly witness the human endeavor to continue this fight in the middle of the loss, despair, and human weakness and failures against a seemingly immortal enemy. In reading this wonderful book, the only problem with me was that I can't stand reading anything about blood, cutting open the body, or removing organs, so it took quite a gut for me to read it to the end. But if you can handle all of this, this book is good for those who are confident of the human ability. You'll be humble before the excruciating suffering and formidable battle that the patients and doctors and researchers are facing every day. This book is good for those who want to become doctors or medical scientists. They will learn that it is not just about the disease that they are fighting against. It is about the patients who are suffering, their families who have to hope above what they could possibly hope for, and the doctors with all their human flaws and weakness who are still going on. This book is good for everybody in general. You could be overwhelmed by the ingenuity and diversity of ever-evolving cancer, but you will also see the tenacity of human beings who just cannot give up and continue this fight as if all those difficulties were irrelevant. As far as we are here, cancer was, is, and will be with us. As their author writes, cancer is indeed the low built into our genome, the leaden counterweight to our aspirations for immortality. I believe that it is the immortality of human will to sustain a battle against the emperor of all maladies. There is no utopian predictions, but it is irrelevant. When we are in a war, we fight.